the informers get paid. Now, what I couldn't understand is how General Mkhwanazi was able to claim at the Nhlanhla Commission and in Parliament that he was managing informers. And I have made the suggestion at paragraph 81, Chairman, that if the committee wants to get to the bottom of the root of all evil in the police, it needs to start with the slush fund. Because if they can stop the wanton theft of millions of rand, which is stolen in secret and spent in secret with zero accountability, and in fact, the loose strings around the purse of the slush fund results in inside factional battles within the police, because many senior police officials want to get their hands on these taxpayer funds. And it's a fact of life that in 2012-2013 financial year, the slush fund budget was 98 million rand a year. In the 13 years since then, it's grown to 600 million rand a year, which is a 500% increase. During the same period, Chairman, we've had inflation of 113%. So we have not seen a concomitant drop in serious crime. In fact, we've seen the opposite. We've seen crime increase in the last 13 years.
Okay, there's just another two topics I need to cover with you quickly. The one is the now infamous, notorious braai that you had at what used to be Kretsch's house. What was that gathering? Did you conspire there? Who was there? Did you conspire there to do anything, to frame anyone?
No, Chairman, I was
anyone?
in fact flying overseas. I was flying to Vienna on the night of that braai. And it was the end of the year. The people that are stated to be at the braai by Nkabindi and General Mokateri. So Cedric Nkabindi was not invited to the braai, but he turned up. The persons that were invited to the braai, and it was just an informal braai of 2 hours, was Robert McBride, General Severe, who by that stage was no longer in the police. He was, I think, working for the Johannesburg City Council. And there were some of my staff there. And the late Nhlanhla Mahlangu was there. And there was a journalist there, but the journalist was there to talk about a new book that she'd just published about Radovan Krejcir. And that's why we decided to have the braai at Radovan Krejcir's house, because she was launching the book that she'd written about Radovan Krejcir. And I asked the person who owned the house if we could have a braai there. And that's what we did.
And what did you discuss? Was it just an end of year braai? Was it just a social gathering, or did you meet for any particular purpose?
It was a 2-hour social gathering, and I was quite surprised to see the number of people that turned up, because from IPID there were probably 6 or 7. I invited Nhlanhla Mahlangu, the late Nhlanhla Mahlangu, and I invited Robert McBride. I invited Matthew Sissoko, but he didn't come. And there were 1 or 2 others, but I can't remember their names now, plus Cedric Nkabindi. And actually, if things that happened afterwards hadn't have happened, I wouldn't have even remembered Cedric Nkabindi's name. He alleged that there were people there from AfriForum and the DA. There were nobody there from AfriForum, and there were nobody there from the DA. So all these things were fabricated. He also alleged...
Any journalists there?
Angelique Serrao, she made a book about, or she published a book then, that same week, about Radovan Krejcir. So, and she gave everybody a copy of the book. So
that was now your house. You bought it from Krejcir.
no, it wasn't my house.
Is it Krejcir's house?
No, it was never Radovan Krejcir's house. So I don't really know.
Okay.
Well, you know, there's a whole fabrication that was Radovan Krejcir's house. It was never Radovan Krejcir's house. The house in question is owned by a company, and the owner of that company, I asked him, can we use the house? Radovan Krejcir used to live there.
Oh, I see. Okay. Now, the July 6 press conference held by General Mkhwanazi, you deal with it from paragraph 91 onwards. Paragraph 91 on 1 July 2025, following the arrest and appearance in court, where 5 generals and 2 brigadiers, all from crime intelligence, based on complaints laid by myself and others pertaining to nepotistic corruption within crime intelligence, I caused my attorney to write a letter of demand to General Masemola demanding the suspension of these 7 crime intelligence people. Within hours, General Masemola responded to the letter of demand, fobbing me off with a tough response, thereby removing the urgency. When did you lay those complaints?
Chairman, I met with the Office for the Inspector General of Intelligence in January of 2025. And I supplied them, we carried out some research and we were able to identify the company which had bought these properties. We received the tip-off. It's probably the same tip-off that the Honorable Fadi L. Adams and Honorable Carla Barnard received. And we also got it. We have a anonymous email address that we use. And we got this tip-off, and I decided to carry out some research. And I wrote to the Inspector General of Intelligence. They asked me for a meeting, and I handed over. We got copies of the.
So sorry, just repeat the dates. I just missed it.
It was in it's one of the annexes is my email to the Inspector General of Intelligence. I'm not quite sure which of them it is. Without looking at the annex list, in section H.
There's 30.
It's page 294. So 294 of my submission is the email that I sent to the Inspector General of Intelligence. This was after the meeting, summarizing.
What's the date of that? No.
The email is the 16th of February, 2025, but we had the meeting in January. And he asked me to do further research, which I did, and I supplied him with that information. I then sent him an email on the 16th of February. He wrote back on the 3rd of March, and he said, thank you for this valuable information. We will be in KZN from 10 to 11th of March, 2025. And after that, I had no further interaction with him, but I supplied them with all that information. And the most critical point that we discovered was the fact that the properties were purchased at the full asking price. In fact, they paid more than the asking price.
Okay. So if I can just move on from there, just back to the braai quickly. The person who was there from City, of Johannesburg
Yes,
had also mentioned to you the procurement of spyware,
never,
no,
never.
by Sabia?
I never had any discussion with him. I don't have the ability to procure spyware, whatever
No,
spyware
I'm not
is.
saying, I'm not putting that to you. I'm saying it had been mentioned to you.
No,
No,
no.
okay. What was your relationship, if any, with Sabia?
My relationship with Sabir first came about in respect of Radovan Krecha,
Oh.
who's a Czech fugitive. He was wanted in the Czech Republic. He was living here unlawfully. He entered the country on fake passports and he should have been deported, but he managed to play the game and stay here. And
So
unfortunately,
when was that, when was your last interaction with General Sabia?
so General Sabir then got dismissed from the DPCI. He took it to the Labour Court and he was later reinstated. And after he was reinstated, he became the Deputy National Commissioner, Detective Services. After he became Deputy National Commissioner, Detective Services, we probably had 4 or 5 meetings with him, maybe 6, to hand him copies of dockets which we had opened relating to corrupt police officials and corrupt prosecutors. And he then handed that to subordinates of his, and we then worked with those people, and those police officials were arrested, and so were the prosecutors, and they're currently on trial.
And when last was that?
That would have been 24, 25.
And subsequently, have you had any contact with General Sabia?
I have had contact with him
Yeah.
because when this media release took place of General Mkhwanazi on 6th of July in last year, he made allegations about Shadrach Subia. So I phoned him and I said, listen, what's going on there?
Yeah.
Are you involved in all this? What's going on? Of course, he denied everything. And I said to him, well, I hope you've got your version of events to put forward. And he assured me that he would be putting his events forward. It's been alleged that I'm his friend. I want to just place it on record that I don't know where he lives. I've never been to his house. I've never been to a restaurant for a meal with him. I've never had any dealings. The only time we ever had a meal together was the braai at the house in Bedford View in December 2016. I've had no other interactions with him other than work-related.
Okay. You have called for. Sorry, let me just deal with this aspect quickly in the remaining few minutes I have left. You say that on the 5th of July, this is at paragraph 93, in the early hours of the morning,
Correct.
someone dropped a brown envelope off at my office, which I saw when I arrived at 4:30.
Yep.
I was truly shocked by the contents, which included the following documents, which I felt to send to Masemola to share with the NDPP, the head of IDAC, and the president, as the documents allege a national scandal being perpetrated by General Masemola. Now, this is why do you mention that this is just the day before the 6th of July, when
Yes.
the press announcement was made?
And
And in paragraph 92, you also allege that you received information that on the 3rd and 4th of July at the police college in Pretoria, Generals Masemola and Mkhwanazi put the finishing touches to the presentation that General Mkhwanazi would use to shock the nation on the 6th.
that's correct, Chairman. Although it's in chronological order there, I only found out about that after the 6th of July. Because after the media conference of General Mkhwanazi, some of the journalists there, he apparently did a presentation on PowerPoint. And some of the journalists there said, "That's a nice presentation. Can we get a copy of it, please?" So he instructed his PR or spokesman or whatever you call it to supply it to the journalists. And when they supplied that presentation to the journalists, they did it on their computer by converting the PowerPoint presentation to PDF and then emailing it to the journalists. And one of the journalists, because I didn't know about this 6th of July conference until it actually happened. And one of the journalists phoned me and said, "This and this conference took place, blah, 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 blah. What can you comment?" I said, "Well, I haven't seen it. Can you send me something?" And he sent me this presentation. And when I got it, I was shocked. I read it and like, wow, it's like 40 or 50 pages of presentation went up.
But you're not mentioned specifically in the presentation.
I am. He doesn't mention my name, but he refers to a member of the public that called for the suspension.
So you inferred it can only be referred
Can
to
only because he not only says a member of the public has called for the suspension, but he says the member of the public wants the National Commissioner to bypass the HR regulations of the police and just suspend these people. So clearly he was talking about me. But more importantly, and this is an important point, Chairman, this PDF file, we have software which can analyze documents and we can extract the metadata from the documents. So I decided to run a quick metadata check on this document that had been sent to me. As a result, I was able to identify the computer on which the PDF was created.
and the location where the computer is.
A head office computer. So a police head office computer. And we have supplied the information to the Nhlanhla Commission with a suggestion that they inquire from the police to find out who is using that computer. We've got the details on the user number because we extract it from the metadata.
Okay. Just lastly to round off, Chair. I think I did start 9-10 minutes past 10. You called for General Khumalo's suspension. Were you responsible for his arrest by IDAC?
No, in no way, shape, or form. I didn't even know he was being arrested. But when he was arrested, I thought, wow, this is good. Now, I put the copy of the charge sheet in here. Charge sheets, once you've been arrested and charged, it's a public document. So I managed to get a copy of the charge sheet.
But the charge sheet, was that based on the...
Oh, sorry, I haven't put that charge sheet in there. I don't have that one. I couldn't
But
get
was it based on the information that was provided by Honourable Adams, MP?
Chairman, from what I can understand, Mr. Honourable Adams and Honourable Kola Barnard and Dishonourable Paul O'Sullivan all laid complaints in different directions, and they somehow merged. They found themselves together. I didn't lay a complaint with IDAC. I laid my complaint with the Office for the Inspector General of Intelligence because of the nature of the complaint which related to the Crime Intelligence Secret Service account. As far as I'm aware, Honourable Adams laid a complaint with the police. So I think these complaints all ended up with IDAC. And IDAC obviously investigated and chose to make the arrest. But I wasn't involved in any way, shape or form.
Thank you. Thank you, Honourable Chair. Perhaps I'll get another opportunity at the end. Maybe my colleague can use that opportunity. Thank you, Mr. Sullivan.
Did you conclude, Advocate Arendse? Or must I give you 15 more minutes?
Chair, I've obviously preferred more time. A lot of time, to be fair, was also taken up yesterday. Various points, a number of them valid, but didn't form part of the leading of evidence. But we interacted on it, so quite a few hours was spent on that, and would have preferred more time. But in the short time available, we've covered some of the topics that we wanted to cover.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I can give you until 2:30 to raise any other important matter which you feel must be brought to our attention.
Chair, it's fine. We'll rest our case for the time being.
Okay, no, it's fine. If you are satisfied that you have done justice, then it's okay. Honorable James, are you ready?
Chair,
Are you ready?
Chair, we're not giving up our 15 minutes. We'll take it at the end.
Yeah,
We'll reserve our 15 minutes for the end.
okay.
Okay, thank you.
Are you ready, Honorable James?
I think so. Yes, Chair.
Yeah. I'm allocating 15 minutes to alternates. And then 40 minutes